Good morning. It's Monday, June 16th. Here's what we're working on this morning. We will see trade movements between Canada and the U.S. today.
There is growing concern for a missing man last seen in the Dundas area.
And Hamilton's Forge FC remains unbeaten in the CPL. Good morning. We all survived the weekend.
Yes, we did.
Just barely. Some of us more than others.
If you were in your car trying to get around the link, you had cobwebs forming, but we survived. We made it through.
Yes.
Woohoo!
I managed to avoid the link in all my travels, so I was okay. But I noticed on other roads, secondary roads on the mountain, it was really busy yesterday.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way it is. Once a year when they close the link and we all go, oh no, please.
But now it's nice and fresh and shiny.
Yeah, it's like a brand new toy. Let's get out there and drive carefully, please, of course. But yeah, the link is opening now. It should have opened at 5 o'clock this morning. So that's improving. However, we do have other problems. But I want to talk about the weather first of all, because it's going to be a lovely day today. We're going to have a mix of sun and clouds. The sun is already up, and we're going to have a temperature of 24 degrees today. Humidex of 29, so a little warmer than yesterday. Yesterday, 21 degrees, so today 24 in the sunshine. Very high UV index, by the way. We're 13 degrees right now. Looking at the traffic this morning, okay, we've got headaches already, even though the construction on the link's coming to an end. The 403 Waterdown Road camera that we have is moving fine, so nothing to see there. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras. Centennial Parkway is moving nicely. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Now, this is just stop and go already this morning. If we flip ahead to Fairview Street, heading toward Brant, the problem that we have at the moment is there is a collision on the 403, right around the 407 as you're heading out of Hamilton toward Burlington and around the Brant Street area. So it's really causing a slowdown trying to get around to Brant Street, and you're seeing the impact of that across the Skyway and through this part of Burlington. But unfortunately, we don't have a camera that can show you the problem, but that is really the only problem that we have at the moment. But we will continue to monitor this. We will look at any other problems that might arise. You never know. We'll keep you posted on that, and then we'll look at the forecast coming up. Right now, the news.
All right, thank you, Brian. Prime Minister Mark Carney will meet U.S. President Donald Trump this morning ahead of the G7 summit in Alberta. Despite having 34 felony convictions, Trump's jet landed in Kananaskis yesterday. We've reached out to the Canadian Border Services Agency for comment. This is Trump's first visit to Canada since he suggested the country should become the 51st state, a comment that led to boos during the American anthem at sporting events. The two leaders have reportedly been in frequent contact in recent weeks, trying to ease tensions over new tariffs. Today's meeting in Alberta comes 6 years after Trump walked out of the last G7 summit hosted by Canada. The meeting is scheduled for 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 o'clock Eastern.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with Mark Carney in Ottawa last night ahead of the G7 summit as Canada pushes to restart stalled trade talks with the UK following Brexit.
And for years we worked together as Commonwealth members, as independent, democratic, sovereign countries working alongside each other on issues of security, defence, trade, the economy, you name it. And we think alike, we work alike, and I think that's not just a reflection on the past. I think it is very much needed in the here and now, and how I think we can forge our future together as we go forward from here.
Keir Starmer expects that he and the other G7 leaders will seek de-escalation in the conflict between Israel and Iran during the summit.
Hamilton police continue to search for 62-year-old John Edwards, who's been missing for nearly a week now, and there's growing concern for his well-being. Simone Gavras joins us live from his last confirmed sighting location in Dundas with more. Simone.
Good morning, Rick. Police are continuing to look through dozens of surveillance camera footage to determine where John Edwards is. And the last confirmed sighting is here at this McDonald's here in Dundas. He was last seen on Wednesday of last week around 10 a.m. Now, police say that he was seen on video going westbound in this area. The 62-year-old man he left his home at St. Joseph's Villa around 9:15 a.m. on June 11th. That's about a 15-minute walk away from where he was last seen at this McDonald's. He's described as white, about 5'11", over 200 pounds, with shoulder-length brown hair and light-colored eyes. He may be wearing baggy shorts, a striped blue t-shirt, white socks, running shoes, and possibly a baseball cap. Police have been investigating Edwards' disappearance since last week, and they set up a command center in the Metro parking lot near Governor's Road and Ogilvie Street. They say he's known to enjoy walks through local trails and parks in Dundas, but it's unusual for him not to return home. Now, I did go by the former command center area at the Metro earlier this morning. Police aren't set up there right now, but I did reach out to police this morning to see if they have plans to set up additional command centers. We're hoping to hear more details throughout the morning, but for now, I'll send things back over to you, Annette.
Hey, thanks for that update, Simone. Well, several young men are believed to have been sexually assaulted during a festival in Grimsby. Friday night during the Happening Festival on Main Street in Grimsby, Niagara police report that at least 2 men say they were approached by a man who asked their age and then grabbed their genitals. Detectives believe there may be other victims. A 33-year-old man has been charged with assault and 2 counts of sexual assault. Still in Niagara, police are investigating a deliberate crash in Fort Erie over the weekend. After a fight at a house party, a man leaving the party on an ATV was hit by a car. It happened near Netherby and Winger Roads in Fort Erie around 12:30 yesterday morning. A 32-year-old man from Thorold on the ATV was seriously hurt. Police are looking for the 21-year-old driver of a Volkswagen Jetta. Well, a lot of lucky dads got to spend Father's Day on the field at Hamilton Stadium. It was a fundraiser for scleroderma research, awareness, and patient support in Hamilton. Scleroderma is a rare disease that's hard to diagnose. It causes collagen to form and harden around parts of the body. A fundraising campaign culminating with yesterday's Fun on the Field raised more than $60,000.
Finding out through raising awareness that we're finding out people are living with this at a younger age.
If we can remove as many of those barriers as possible to make their lives just a little bit more bearable, that's why I go to work every day.
Every morning we watch CH News with our morning coffee, and we saw this event, and my wife surprised me with Father's Day gift.
And you can check out the interview he's referring to that we did last week on scleroderma and its impact on our website, chch.com.
That's pretty cool. Sportsline, it may go down as one of the most improbable wins in U.S. Open history.
Towards the hole. Just want to cozy it up. Don't need to make it. 2 putts.
J.J. Spaun hit the flagstick on one hole, he hit a rake on another, had a terrible front 9, and even waded through a weather delay en route to winning the 125th U.S. Open. He was 5 over on the front 9 before responding with 4 birdies and a bogey on the back 9. And at 1 under, Spaun was the only golfer to break par over the 4 rounds at Oakmont in Pennsylvania. Nick Taylor was the top Canadian, tied for 23rd. Dundas's Mackenzie Hughes tied for 50th at 14 over par. Hamilton's Forge FC earned a 2-0 road victory over Vancouver FC yesterday. Captain Kyle Becker opened the scoring in a 52nd minute. Dan Nimick was good from the penalty spot in the 79th. Forge remains unbeaten with 5 wins and 5 draws and is 4 points behind CPL leading Atletico Ottawa. Sweet redemption for George Russell at the Canadian Grand Prix.
A 9th consecutive Canadian Grand Prix winner from the front row of the grid, a 4th different winner in 2025 for George Russell in his victory in the Canadian Grand Prix.
After falling from first place to 3rd last year in Montreal, the British driver won his first race of the Formula One season yesterday. Came under the yellow caution flag after Lando Norris rear-ended McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri on the 67th lap. Red Bull's Max Verstappen was 2nd, and Russell's teammate, 18-year-old Kimi Antonelli, finished 3rd and became the 3rd youngest driver to climb the podium in F1 history. Blue Jays ran into a wall this weekend as Toronto got swept away by the Phillies. Jose Barrios allowed 6 runs over 6+ innings as Philadelphia dominated the Jays 11-4 yesterday and outscored Toronto 22-6 over the 3 games. The Bluebirds are off today. They open a 3-game series against the visiting Arizona Diamondbacks tomorrow. The Boston Red Sox have traded Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants. In return, the Bo Sox get pitchers Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison and a couple of prospects. The 28-year-old Devers is hitting .272 with 15 homers and 58 RBIs this season. Grayson Barrett hit an RBI double in the 4th, and Jose Dominguez threw 7 shutout innings to lead the Welland Jackfish to a 1-0 win over the visiting Guelph Royals. Elsewhere, London topped the Hamilton Cardinals 6-5, Toronto dumped Chatham-Kent 5-2, and Brantford blasted Kitchener 12-1. Well, it sounds like the Mitch Marner era in Toronto will be coming to an end. According to Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman, Marner's camp has not been engaged in contract talks with the Maple Leafs, and he's expected to hit free agency on July 1st. Friedman says Marner is, quote, not coming back to Toronto. The winger set a career high with 102 points this season. Oklahoma City will host Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight, and even though the Thunder beat Indiana in Game 4 to tie the series at 2, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander knows they have to play better.
We're grateful, thankful we did enough to get a win, but we're not trying to rely on the way we played last game. We need to be better, and we're going to be better.
The Hamilton native is averaging 32.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.8 assists a game in the finals. And if you missed it on Saturday, the Ticats lost again. On the same night, Garney Henley's number 26 was retired. Hamilton fell 28-23 against Saskatchewan. The 0-2 Cats are on the bye week and next play June 27th when they host 2-0 Montreal.
Yep, let's get into this Monday, the 16th of June here. The sun is up, and we're going to enjoy it for the day today. We'll talk about that in a sec. First of all, 403 and Waterdown Road, our exclusive camera. That's looking a little bit better now compared to what it was a while ago when it was really slow. To some MTO traffic cameras, obviously nothing going on in St. Catharines. That's the QEW and the 405. It looks good here at Centennial Parkway. Then, top of the Skyway Bridge, it just bogs right down, and that continues all the way through Fairview, and then around past, once you get past Brant Street, and it starts to get better because the problem is the 403, 407, right around Brant Street. We have a collision there, and it's really slowing things down. Nothing here at Burl Oak. We'll flip ahead to east of Royal Windsor and a look at the QEW in Dixie. Not a lot happening, just that one problem trying to get out of Hamilton or coming off the Skyway Bridge heading past Brant Street. That's really all we have. All right, let's get into what kind of a day this Monday is going to be. Starting out the morning, we're sitting at 13 degrees right now. Skies are partly cloudy. The winds are light. Humidity is comfortable. Not a bad start to one of the last mornings of spring. So today we're going to climb to 24 degrees. Humidex about 29, so a little warmer today than yesterday. We are looking for partly cloudy skies for the day today, so a mix of sun and clouds. Air quality is in the low risk category today, no problems there. We've got low pressure systems around us, but today we're going to squeeze out another sunny day, and then the cloud cover is going to start to push in. Tomorrow we could get a shower, we could get a thunderstorm during the day tomorrow, but the temperatures are going to start to ramp up quite a bit as we get into tomorrow. But today, Hamilton, Burlington, 24 and 20. We'll struggle a little bit. The rest of the Horseshoe, 27, 26, 25 degrees with that sun-cloud mix. Tonight, partly cloudy. Temperatures comfortable. 14, 15, and 16 degrees. Tomorrow, the instability pushes in. We could get a shower, we could get a thunderstorm, but look at the temperatures pop up. 27, 28, a little cooler for Burlington, but 28 is going to feel like 36 for the day tomorrow, so it's going to get a fair bit stickier. So out the door, June 13th, it's a Monday, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and temperature of 13. Long range coming up. Annette, Rick.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we're going to have more coming up with Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And Canadian premiers meeting U.S. governors today to talk tariffs. Stay with us. Let's say good morning to Emily Vukovic. Emily, what's going on in Chit Chat this morning?
Hi, good morning. Some notable British actors and athletes were knighted last week. There is a new season of America's Sweethearts Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. It's intense. I didn't realize how intense it could be.
Really?
Like crazy intense. I'd like to see if we could spawn a series for the Ticat cheerleaders, maybe.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I don't know. There's something to think about there. And we'll talk about the box office numbers. They are fiery. How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay.
More coming up in Chit Chat. Thanks, Emily. Let's look at some business figures. Canadian dollar is up another 6 basis points to 73.62 cents U.S. Gold is $17 an ounce lower, and crude is down 32 cents to $72.66 a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia, markets were up today in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. North American markets closed lower on Friday as investors became cautious following Israeli missile attacks on Iranian nuclear and military targets. So the TSX, as a result, was down 111 points, the Dow down 769, and the Nasdaq fell 255.
A group of Canadian premiers will meet with New England governors on Monday to discuss mitigating the impacts of United States-imposed tariffs on their economies. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, premiers from the 4 Atlantic provinces, and Quebec's economic minister are scheduled to meet with the governors in Boston. New Brunswick Premier Susan Holton says the premiers are looking to New England leadership for insight on how to deal with the White House and U.S. President Donald Trump. Holt says she plans on raising critical energy and infrastructure files during the meeting.
Manufacturing sales in Canada are coming off their biggest monthly drop since October of 2023. So they were down nearly 3% overall in April as the tariff dispute with the United States impacts industry. StatsCan says sales of petroleum and coal products were down nearly 11%. Vehicle sales dropped over 8%. Primary metals saw the lowest decline. Roughly half of the manufacturers who were surveyed by StatsCan were affected by tariffs in some form in April, as were 43% of Canadian wholesalers.
U.S. President Donald Trump will have sweeping control over U.S. steel operations under the new deal with Japan's Nippon Steel. Administration officials over the past few days provided additional insight into the so-called Golden Share Agreement that the federal government made as a condition for supporting the partnership. Under the government's terms, it would be impossible without Trump's consent to relocate U.S. Steel's headquarters from Pittsburgh, change the name of the company, transfer production or jobs outside the United States, shutter factories, or reincorporate the business overseas, among other powers held by the president.
As the conflict between Israel and Iran intensifies, Americans could really feel it at the pump. An analyst for GasBuddy predicts prices could rise more than 30 cents a gallon by July 4th because of the skyrocketing cost of oil. Some oil infrastructures appear to have been damaged in fighting. Haifa is home to Israel's largest refinery, and it was a target overnight. Iran is one of the top oil producers in the world, and it could push prices even higher if it blocks the Strait of Hormuz, which is a narrow waterway that carries about 20% of the world's oil. Now, in Canada, most of our oil comes from Western provinces, although some of it is still imported from the U.S. and smaller amounts from other countries like Saudi Arabia.
Health Canada has recalled a baby toothbrush sold at Dollarama stores across the country due to possible choking hazard. A federal agency says the Oracare Baby Brush toothbrush has a manufacturing defect that can cause the toothbrush to break in 2 pieces. It says Dollarama has received 1 consumer complaint about the defect, but there have been no choking incidents reported.
Okay, we're taking a quick break right now. Brian is going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast for the rest of the week.
Good morning, 6:23, sunny Monday morning. Let's get right to traffic. QEW in the 406. Nothing to see here. It's really light volume. Different story. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge. As you can see, we are stop and go already. That even continues all the way through around Fairview. The problem is right around the 403, 407 Brand Street area where we have a collision, and it is really bogging things down. But once you get past the Brand Street area, heading through Burlington into Oakville, it eases off off quite nicely. Nothing at Lorne Park. Dipping into the 403 at Erin Mills Parkway. As you can see, it's moving quite nicely there. But it's the Skyway this morning that is so slow. So take it carefully, please. And of course, the link, after being closed all weekend, is opening up once again this morning. Let's get to our temperatures that we have. It's a nice fresh start to the day here. The 16th of June, 13 for Hamilton, Grimsby, 15 Mississauga, 17 for Toronto. So we'll talk about seasonals this time of year. 13 for the overnight low. That's how we figure we'll start the day, and that's how we're doing it this morning. 24 for the daytime high. Those are our sun times and records for today. And yeah, we're going to see the sun today. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds. 17 for the first bell, getting toward the last couple of weeks of school. And 24 after school. A bit of a humidex for the day today. It'll feel like 29 degrees with that sunshine. Down to 14 tonight. It'll be partly cloudy. Tomorrow, the temperature climbs. It's going to be a little stickier for the day tomorrow. We'll hit 28 degrees with a humidex of 36. So yeah, getting stickier. But there is that instability. It'll be a mainly cloudy sky with chance of showers and thunderstorms. Then we stick around with showers, 26 on Wednesday, 22 on Thursday, with again chance of a shower, but we start to get some sunshine back. But look what happens Friday. Friday, it's summer. And we hit that in the evening, actually. At 10:41 is when summer arrives, but it should be a lovely day. Sunny and 23. Cloudy on Saturday, sunny on Sunday, and on Sunday, the heat rises up to 31. It's forecast. Annette, Rick.
10:35 or 45 at night. Are we going to stay up?
I don't know. I mean,
For
the
the
weather's
start
nice.
of summer, yeah.
Have you ever wanted a piece of Hollywood history?
Well, more than 450 items belonging to director David Lynch are going up for auction. Lynch, who died in January, was well known for his unique and surrealistic films and TV shows, including Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks. Some personal artifacts being auctioned off include props, fine art, and memorabilia. Other items from his home are going to be included, like a vintage Chanel sofa, a director's chair, and an espresso machine.
Wow.
The live auction for the David Lynch collection, everything in it, is set for Wednesday from Julian's Auction and Turner Classic Movies.
I'd go for that director's chair. That looks great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, stay with us. More to come after the break.